Digital Citizenship Group Project. Impact of Emergency Online Teaching on the Digital Divide, also known as Pandemic Teaching. Stormy Martin, Mackenzie Smith, Laura Pink, Ashton Quattlebaum. Guiding questions for the reader to consider. What were some positive aspects that came from the pandemic? How has the focus on technology affected the social, physical, and emotional skills of students? Positive aspects that came from the pandemic. Online learning platforms and class collaboration tools. Since the pandemic, online learning platforms such as Google Classroom and Schoology have been used to help reinforce educational learning without the necessity of being in a school building. Kindred 2021. Due to the sudden shift to an online learning environment, these programs were rushed and not entirely effective. However, since the pandemic, these programs have been perfected by the software developers. Students can now collaborate with teachers and other peers as they share their ideas and converse as they would in a typical classroom setting. Online learning platforms and collaboration tools are still in use in the classroom and are easily implemented into the daily tasks. Positive aspects that came from the pandemic. Supporting the emotional and social emotional well-being of the youth. The pandemic brought on dramatic change for students of all ages. With the escalating fear of contracting the virus and other various risk factors, there was an increase in irritability, sleep disorders, anxiety, and depression in children. Sao Man Ng, Sui Ling Ng, 2022. Teachers were not only tasked with ensuring a good education, but now faced with monitoring and helping students be aware of their own emotional status, helping students cope through the pandemic and all it left in its wake. Years later, the educational system is still recovering. Schools have implemented new programs to help teachers and students see and understand what feelings they are experiencing, along with being able to show empathy for others as well. Impact of increased technology use on social skills of students. The stress and anxiety that ensued in the pandemic's wake did not, unfortunately, disappear overnight. For children and adolescents who are in critical stages of development when online learning swept over schools, the effects of social isolation on social and behavioral skills makes it more likely for these students to experience negative consequences later in life. One example of a negative consequence students are currently facing is the shared idea of social competence, or the ability to communicate thoughts, feelings, or actions when performing an interpersonal task. The shift from in person to technological interaction has left many students unsure as to how to coexist with one another, as there have been missed opportunities to learn social cues and behavioral responses. Impact of increased technology use on emotional skills of students. The increased use of technology and decreased occurrence of peer socialization has had a negative impact on the emotional regulation skills of students. In a 2021 study examining the impact of the pandemic on children's social and emotional skills, it was found that children with fewer opportunities for socialization are more inclined to display anxious withdrawal and fearful behaviors upon returning to the classroom. Impact of increased technology use on physical skills of students. School closures and the reliance on technology left many students to experience a decrease in their level of daily physical activity. An in-person education offered much more than academic opportunities, as it also allowed students to participate in sports and perform consistent physical exercise.
In a study including students ranging from 10 to 16 years old, 59% of the respondents reported a decrease in physical activity during the pandemic, with 54% reporting less than 15 minutes of physical activity a day. The increase in screen time has also had a negative impact on the sleep habits of students, which in turn negatively impact a student's desire to engage in physical activity.
Opportunities, awareness and access, awareness of digital disparity. The pandemic magnified existing connectivity disparities. For students from low income backgrounds and marginalized communities lacking digital access, participating in online classes, submitting assignments, and accessing educational resources became nearly impossible. According to estimates, around 9.7 million students, disproportionately Black and people of color, lack the necessary internet access to continue their education at home during the pandemic. Opportunities, awareness, and access. Access is the goal. Efforts to bridge the digital divide during the pandemic made progress. Programs aimed at enabling distance learning reduced the number of students without broadband access by 20% to 40%, and increased access to e learning devices by 40% to 60%. The Affordable Connectivity Program, ACP. The ACP had offered subsidies ranging from $30 to $75 per month, but ended June 1st, 2024, due to a lack of additional funding from Congress. There is some traction to refund the program. Updates can be found at tech.ed.gov. Collaborations between government agencies and the private sector have assisted in providing resources. For example, T Mobile has a program called 10 Million by T Mobile. It aims to connect 10 million students to the internet for free and offer affordable devices like Chromebook at cost.
Okay, my name is Ashton Quattlebaum, and for my part of the group, um, here are my slides. Starting on what is digital equity? Digital equity refers to the fair and equal access to technology, digital tools, and the internet for all individuals, regardless of their socioeconomic status, geographic location, race, gender, age, or ability. It involves ensuring that everyone has the resources and skills necessary to participate fully in the digital world. Right there, I cited Strieger 2023. And in the context of education, digital equity means that all students, no matter their background, have access to devices such as laptops, tablets, smartphones that allow them to engage with digital content, reliable internet connectivity, to access online resources, participate in virtual learning, and complete assignments, digital literacy, and the skills needed to use technology efficiently and safely. Digital equity is essential for ensuring that technology enhances learning opportunities and bridges rather than widens educational gaps. Without digital equity, certain groups, such as low income students, rural communities, and people with disabilities, can be disproportionately disadvantaged in education, work, and broader civic participation. Digital divide and equity gaps. The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated inequalities related to the digital divide.
With wide adoption of remote working and learning, telehealth, and virtual events and social activities, the technology have-nots and no-nots experience substantial marginalization and elevated risks of COVID-19 exposure in daily lives. Many students lacked reliable access to high-speed internet, proper devices, or even a conducive learning environment at home. This limited their ability to participate in online education fully. Continuing the digital divide and equity gaps, low-income families, rural areas, or marginalized communities were most affected. This digital divide deepened existing educational inequalities, leaving students behind academically and socially. Schools struggled to provide resources or bridge this gap quickly enough. Nearly 1 in 4 rural Americans still lack broadband internet access, citing this as a major problem in their community. This digital disparity also disproportionately affects low-income Americans and people of color. What is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is the use of technology to harass, threaten, embarrass, or target another person. Online threats and mean, aggressive, or rude text, tweets, posts, or messages all count. So does posting personal information, pictures, or videos designed to hurt or embarrass someone else. Key characteristics of cyberbullying include 1. It's persistent. Online harassment can continue 24/7, making it difficult for victims to escape the abuse. 2. Public or private. Cyberbullying can happen publicly, such as posting harmful content or spreading rumors on social media, or privately through direct messages or text. 3. Anonymity. The online environment can offer a degree of anonymity which may encourage more aggressive behavior as bullies feel less accountable for their actions. And number 5, it has a wide reach. Harmful messages or content can be shared quickly with a large audience, amplifying this impact. With the shift to online platforms for both learning and social interaction, there was a surge in cyberbullying during the pandemic. Students were spending more time on digital devices, often without close adult supervision, which led to an increase in negative online behaviors. In a 2022 study, about 17% of all respondents reported that they had experienced cyberbullying in the last 30 days in both 2016 and 2019. Compared to 23% in 2021. White and Caucasian and Asian youth saw significant increases from 2019 to 2021. In 2021, 25.8% of white/Caucasian youth said they were being cyberbullied, compared to 17.5% in 2019. Likewise, in 2021, 19.1% of Asian youth were cyberbullied, compared to 12.1% in 2019. Platforms like Zoom, social media, and gaming became avenues for harassment, name-calling, or exclusion. The anonymity of online interactions often emboldened bullies, making it harder for teachers and administrators to intervene effectively. This created emotional and psychological challenges for students, compounding the stress already caused by the pandemic. Some examples of the social media or gaming are included there. School awareness programs. Here is my program that my school uses to mitigate the issue for pre-K through 12th grade learners. I am at Hartselle City Schools, and we use the PACT program. And I've attached the breakdown of it. I'll go ahead and read the paragraph that goes along with it. Student Awareness is a series of school programs presented in 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 10th grades in all Decatur City, Hartselle City, and Morgan County schools and private schools upon request. The age-appropriate programs are all evidence-based and teach children about abuse and neglect and how to respond to these situations. As students get older, the topics covered expand to include a range of relevant issues that affect their overall well-being and that could put them at high risk of abuse. Students are also taught to understand that feeling and emotions which might be associated with these situations. Students in Morgan County receive student awareness programs 5 times as they grow and develop from ages 6 to 16. These programs also involve teachers, counselors, and parents. These programs help meet the legislative requirements of Aaron's Law, which require public schools to implement a prevention-oriented child sexual abuse program. Curricula that PACT utilizes are endorsed by Aaron Marin, child sexual abuse survivor and founder and president of Aaron's Law. And then it has the link there to go and look at Aaron's Law if you would like.
Silver Hill Elementary School in Baldwin County, Alabama, has adopted the Leader in Me program by Franklin Covey. The Leader in Me framework consists of 7 habits. Habit number 1, be proactive. Habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. Habit number 3, put first things first. Habit number 4, think win-win. Habit number 5, seek first to understand, then be understood. Habit number 6, synergize. Habit number 7, sharpen the saw. The goal of this leadership program is to teach students to lead, share leadership, and empower learners. You can find out more information at leaderinme.org.